June the 1st, 2025. Guys, you're looking at satellite images over the U.S. this morning. And we've got a lot of wildfire smoke coming up on these images. Notice that the concentration coming down out of Ontario right there. That's the thickest part, and the reason it's so thick there is because this low pressure system has created a boundary, and it's piling it up around the edges here, not letting it move right into there so it just gets thicker. It's already a thick plume, but it's a little more concentrated because of this. Now look at this wide band right here. Covers all of this area, sweeping down now through, it's above us here in central Mississippi. This plume through Alabama, coming down through Georgia, in the Florida Panhandle. Check that out, coming all the way across the nation. And so we've got geomagnetic storm, radiation storm, extremely high solar winds, and now we got to deal with this. But right now it puts kind of an orange tint on the trees because it's not as thick in central Mississippi as it is up into some of these areas here, guys. I feel sorry for you. We saw this same pattern last year during the Canadian wildfires. In New York, you guys along Long Island and all really caught it. And it looks like as this low pressure system is pulled off the northeast, it's going to allow this thicker band to also, you can tell it's already moving up the coastline slightly. So be prepared for that. Now, this is not real healthy to breathe. And you need to be inside as much as you can today anyway. This is just another reason to do that. And also with the heat, and we're in a radiation storm, what does that tell us? We're with geomagnetic storm, G4, S2 radiation storm. That means the magnetic lines of force are heating up, the lava's heating up, things like that. The volcanoes may start to get a little warmer. The tropics are going to start to heat up, and we've got pressure on the tectonic plates already. I'm waiting for a breaking point with this much wind, and I have seen a sudden decrease in the solar wind cause a quake, and what happens, we've talked about it before, is you squeeze a water balloon, it's deforming the surface. That's where you get the pressure on your tectonic plates, but when you release your pressure on that balloon, you also get a distortion as it moves back into place, right? So there's a double movement, the impact and then the release. But let's look a little closer up in this northern section around the Hudson Bay area. Now, I'm leaving the filter on natural color or true color, and it's giving it the images the satellites are actually seeing. And you can see this is Hudson Bay, dipping all the way down here. Very large, very historic area. And this is that concentration. Here's the edge of the low pressure. And so it's really concentrating here. But look how wide this band of fires is. Notice something else before I change the filter. See these black areas right there and down through this area? Those are fires. I'm going to change the filter. And notice as the radar sweeps through before sun rises, look at the red zones there, and you can actually see the big one right there. Now, this is not all the fires because you can see smoke coming from other locations, but this is really adding a lot to the smoke factor. And again, with concentrating, moving straight south. Now, that's really the greatest concentration of fires. If we look at a three-state satellite image here going across over into Western Canada, right through there, guys, that's the big area. And if I'm not mistaken, someone from that area, let me know. I think this is very close to the oil sands or where they're, it's not fracking, I don't think exactly, it's not drilling exactly. Anyway, it's oil sands and it's a lot of production coming out of there, and they're being threatened. Let us know the updates in that area, because what's going to happen is not only are people being evacuated and property destroyed, but the price of gasoline is going to go up, and that price, and a lot of that comes down into the U.S., so all the prices will be reflected from this. But right now we have a pretty bad health situation. And really, if you got that many fires in that area, I know it's not as dense as some other areas, but still, there's populations involved, people, jobs, and everything else. So guys, we're hoping you get some rain in there, but it seems to be a hot spot each year. And we're seeing, again, radiation pouring in, extra heat, and then when you got these tar sands or oil sands, then it's sounds like a natural combustion setup. And again, we're seeing it, and for at least the last 2 or 3 years, get this bad. Now, this is what our magnetosphere looks like when you've got nearly 2.5 million mile per hour solar winds. The model does not even know how to handle it. There's so much going on here. Let's watch this, guys. Unreal. Never seen it like this. You're going to see plasma break from here and come back and connect into this area. Watch. Bam, right there. And guys, that can cause what is called space quakes. And because of that, basically a plasma collision and explosion. But look at what it's doing to the front of the shield. It's compressing them, and with this radiation storm, guys, we're getting pelted. In geomagnetics, radiation, and the heat built into that, and let it go through one more time. We're going to look at all 3 models, but we're going to find that I've talked about the breaks in the shield called the cusp, and there it comes. It's getting very strong as I let it play back through. And that's where we really get the ground penetrating radiation. Now let's take a look at the pressure model. And these areas in red, guys, it's 2 different versions. This is looking straight. If you were above the earth looking straight down, this would be if you were off to the left looking sideways. But anyway, these red areas where you see it bending into our shields, those are what I call the cusp. It's a scientific term for it. And it's where you have openings in our shields and radiation pours in. So you can see it's already active before I started, and this is going back right here to 3,800 hours UTC this morning. Then watch it as I play it forward. You see it increase, trying to push out. But see, this section right here should be out here at about 12. That's the standoff point, and it's nowhere near that. And look at the burn through in the cusp, completely filling up. Now it's not 2 points, and look at that wave come in. It's a solid radiation storm getting into our atmosphere. Look at that. Also, I want to look at the other model. Each one gives us a different idea of what we're seeing, but there's a tremendous amount of pressure on these models. And, they're dealing with solar wind speeds that they probably have never had to model, not very often anyway. Now let's take a look at the plasma density. We looked at it all the time. It's the chart right above the solar wind speed on the Discover satellite page. And you can see that really the cusp areas are already full because we were already in the 600 and 700 kilometer per second solar wind speeds overnight. Let's play it forward. You'll see the timing when we kick right into that GEO4 magnetic storm coming up. Again, just after 800 hours UTC time. That's when it started. Then you're going to see the main impact continue to rise, get up into that 1,000 kilometer per second. Look at the plasma. That's in the blue. And what happens, you see it starting to thin out as the solar wind increases, because that's just how it works with smoke and high wind. The higher the wind, the thinner the smoke. And that's a good thing. One thing about a strong CME, guys, is a lot of times you will have less radiation pouring in because it's sweeping a lot away from our shields. If it's very calm, you can have a pretty good creep of radiation during that time building up around our shields. But this actually sweeps some of it away. But when it's this intense, we have all of this leakage along the edges. That's what we're dealing with. So be very careful today. Guys, and something we can't forget, especially with additional heat, is they're saying at AccuWeather over the next week to 10 days, moist and dry air will alternate over the Caribbean and as far north as Florida waters in the Gulf and the Atlantic. Some of the dry air episodes will be accompanied by dust carried from the Sahara Desert for thousands of miles to the west. With smoke, dust just keeps piling up, doesn't it? But we expect this during this time of the year. It says the dust may be visible when the sky is clear and can result in colorful sunrises and sunsets, and it gives you the same effect of the wood smoke, when it's thick over you, it gives you kind of an orange tint to the sky. It says this moist zone is forecast to develop along the tail end of a cool front from South Florida to the Bahamas and Cuba into early this week. Repeating showers and heavy thunderstorms in this region can bring several inches of rain. In a few cases, a couple of inches of rain may pour down in an hour's time and result in street and highway flooding in cities such as Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and of course, Havana, Cuba, down through this area. So we're getting into that part of the season. So, just keep it in the back of your mind. If the things, especially if you're along the coast, in the hurricane zones that you need to start preparing for, don't wait till everyone's rushing, to get those extra supplies or do the extra preparations you need. And because everyone's going to be rushing to do that, generators are going to run out, anything like that, batteries. Another thing, guys, is water. When this starts happening, that's always a problem. So maybe start getting some extra bottled spring water. Don't get that recycled crap. And don't set your bottled water in a window where it's sunny, and don't buy it off a sidewalk in front of a totem store or outside of a big store, because the sun is breaking down that plastic inside those bottles and putting that silicone into your body when you drink it, okay? Get you an Alexa Pure water filter while they're on sale. They're $100 off at $179. It comes with a filter that will go through thousands of gallons of water for you. You can get it, I think it's maybe a 5 notes to pay it off at $179. You'll never regret it, because you can take river water or lake water, filter it if there's no tap water coming in, and you can even filter some of the bottled water if you needed to. But think about those type of things. We're watching this, guys. We're going to keep an eye on it, kind of keep an eye on the volcanic activity and the earthquake activity also. It's a heads up. Be safe.